Okay, it is Sunday, April 6th, and let's get started with episode 7 of the California Underground. So many other things I wanted to talk about other than the economy, but the economy is front and center, so let's talk about that. I'm going to make a prediction. Monday is going to be Black Monday. We're going to set a record on how far the stock market can fall in one day. And in fact, I'm going to predict that the automatic cutoffs, the things that turn off trading at the stock market. I think that happens like at 7% drop. I'm going to predict that we hit that tomorrow. That's a pretty big prediction, but I'm going to predict that tomorrow, Monday, April 7th, the stock market has to stop trading at least for 15 minutes when these safeguards kick in. So, where was Trump when all these tariffs took place? So he put in the tariffs on Thursday, and then on Friday, he went golfing. So that's where he was at. He put in the tariffs and went to the golf course and golfed. Now, to mark the success of Trump's tariffs, which he says are beautiful tariffs, hundreds of thousands of people protested across the country. You can look one picture after another of Boston, downtown New York, Cincinnati, Wilmington, just any large city, even small towns have people lining the streets protesting the tariffs. They're protesting the threat to Social Security. They're protesting Trump in general. This is not our last hurrah. This is the start of what has been is the snowball rolling down the hill. More and more protests, more and more people are standing up. The fact that I even started this blog post is an indication that I've had enough. And I need to maybe start even doing more. Maybe I need to start a podcast. Maybe I need to start sending out newsletters. Maybe I ought to do paid advertising so more people will reach this message. However, it's here. We're getting Trump is here. The tariffs are here. The economy is tanking, and people are responding. Now, the Republican Party, Trump and Musk, they're all the same bag of corruption, have stated that these protests, hundreds of thousands now, are nothing more than paid actors. This is the same thing they say when a Republican goes to his small town and has a town hall meeting, and the people ask him, "Why are you supporting Musk? Why are you attacking Social Security? What's going on with these tariffs?" They start attacking these Republican congressmen in these town halls. And so the Republican Party said, we're not going to hold any more town halls because these are all paid actors. There's a huge movement of paid actors. As a matter of fact, there's probably more paid actors than there are people that are members of the United States military, if this is to be believed. So anyway, the this paid actor thing is all kind of a the way that the Republicans act. It's their playbook. For example, if there's a protest, it's paid actors. If a town hall goes south and it's a Republican, it's paid actors. If the Republican loses an election, the election is stolen. If somebody is being investigated for corruption, it's a witch hunt. If they're caught red-handed, they either blame Biden or it comes back with, no, you shut up. So these are the things that the Republicans come up with, and they also are very big on saying lots of people. I saw the Secretary of Agriculture on TV this morning. She saying, we have lots of the best economists in the world that think this is the best, these tariffs are the best thing for our economy ever. Let her name one. She can't name one. Peter Navarro, who was one of Trump's financial advisors during his first term, wrote an entire book about tariffs and China, and he quoted a famous economist in his book several times. That book was just a made-up name. The guy he quoted in his own book to support his thesis on tariffs against China was just his name as an anagram. They took the letters of his name, Peter Navarro, and moved them around to create a fictitious name that he claimed was a famous economist. So this is what the Republicans do. If the truth worked, they would use the truth. If the truth doesn't work, then you got to use something else. And so they make up things. They make up the witch hunts. Anyway, I digress. So Speaking of Biden, I wanted to say that one of Trump's reasons for the tariff is he says over and over again, I inherited an economy in free fall. Okay. And therefore, only I, Donald Trump, can save you. So I advise you to go take a look at The Economist. Look up The Economist magazine. Just don't take my word for it. Just look up what that magazine is. It's basically the best, the predominant, most believed, trusted, well researched magazine in the world that has to do with the economy. And it's called The Economist. I'm looking at the cover right now, and I'll put the cover up here if I can figure out how to make it on my video. The cover of October 2024. This is the month before the election. The headline on the cover, it has a picture of the dollar bill, $100 bills rolled up in a ball, taking off like a rocket, and it says the envy of the world, and it's talking about the United States economy. You know, our economy is just blasting into space. It's doing so good, and it's the envy of the world. This is the month before the election. Okay, so that's the economy that Trump said is in free fall. Take a look at the stock market, what it's done before Trump. Take a look at what it's done after Trump. Take a look at the growth rate, 2.5% the last quarter of 2024. Take a look at the growth rate the first quarter of this year before tariffs hit. It was negative 0.5, negative zero point 0.5, and it's expected to be much lower this next quarter. Let's see. So Trump's saying things, and those being true are absolutely two different things. Those are not the same thing. Now I'm going to make a prediction here. I want to get off before too long because I notice my posts are getting a little bit longer. I don't want to be boring. So let's get to my main point. Monday, April 7th is going to be a very bad day for the market. I'm just telling you right now. A couple of reasons for this. One is take a look at Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is sitting on $500 billion in cash right now. He's one of the few people that believed that Trump would actually do this, put all these tariffs in. He pulled all of his money out. He paid like $36 billion in taxes for realized capital gains just so he would have the cash not in the market because he could see it coming. But let's get away from Warren Buffett. The market usually anticipates events like raising the tariffs. For example, if they think that the Fed is going to raise interest rates and they reach a consensus about that a couple of weeks before the interest rates are actually raised, the market will move. It'll go up or down based on what they think those interest rates, how they think those interest rates will impact them. This is the market baking in the events. It's making adjustments in advance. So when the interest rates change one way or the other, the market is in the perfect position to take advantage of that. On Thursday, the market took a big nosedive. In other words, the market didn't pre-adjust for Trump's tariffs. And the reason that I think that is true is they can't believe he actually did it. What he did was so ridiculous. The calculations of tariffs have nothing to do with reality or tariffs. They're made up numbers. And he implemented these across the board on all types of companies for all types of reasons. Notably, Russia and Belarus were not sanctioned or hit with tariffs because, well, Trump is Russian, essentially. But the market basically said, I can't believe he did it. He said he was going to do it. I don't believe he actually did it. So Monday's going to come around, and I don't think we've actually made enough of an adjustment yet. Trump is claiming that things are going great and according to plan. You go to Trump and say, hey, the market lost $6 trillion in value in just 2 days. What do you think of that? And he goes, perfect. It's just what I knew this was going to happen, as if he's some type of financial genius. Remember, this is a man that took a casino and made it go bankrupt. All right. House Republicans have abdicated their plan for their responsibility for stopping this insanity. So Trump has gone insane and he's gone off the deep end and he's playing golf while he's ruining the economy. That's okay. We got 3 branches of government. We've got the judicial branch, we've got the legislative branch, and we have the executive branch. Trump is executive branch. The judicial branch is trying to do their job and tell Trump what to do, but he says, I'm not going to follow that. And since the judicial branch has no ability to enforce what they tell him to do, it falls to Congress, the legislative branch. And the Republicans run the Senate, they run the House. And because of this, all they have to do is say, we're going to do whatever Trump says. In other words, they're abdicating their responsibility to keep this insanity from happening. So Trump thinks things are going great. The House has abdicated their responsibility. These are a couple of reasons why Monday is going to be very bad. Also, China has now reiterated that it's going to retaliate. It's already put in some retaliation, and if China does it, then everyone else is going to do it. Everyone kind of, the United States said don't retaliate, but China said we're going to retaliate, and others followed. So if China goes, others are going to follow. People are starting to notice that something's happened. There's no more what's the price of eggs? People are starting to say, where did my retirement go to? I'm not going to be able to retire for another 5 years because of this. So eventually, Trump will pull back, but he's not ready to do it on Monday. On Monday, I predict he's going to stand firm. The EU is going to start throwing in threats and actual action. Market's going to drop at least for another week. Russia is one of the few countries he didn't put tariffs on. One is Trump works for Russia. I think that's pretty clear. And global oil prices have taken a nosedive. Okay. Now, when oil takes a nosedive, the Russian economy takes a nosedive. And the reason is that's all there is to the Russian economy. Unless there suddenly is a giant global market for frozen tundra, Russia has nothing to offer the world other than oil. So I'm thinking that Putin is eventually going to tell Trump, back off. And Trump, of course, will do as he is told. And what Trump will do is he'll claim that he had a beautiful call with somebody and that changed his mind. Of course, the call never happened, but Trump will claim a victory. All right. And in closing, I want you to keep in mind why this is happening. The true enablers are the Republicans in both the House and Senate. They've abdicated their balance of power. If you voted for a Republican, this economic crisis is on you. All right. That's it for today. Thanks.